my fellow oddities, and welcome to a new video. In Mortal Kombat X, there was a major new feature introduced called Factions, where you got to choose a group from the Mortal Kombat lore to be affiliated with. These factions were the Lin Kuei, the Black Dragon, the Brotherhood of Shadow, the White Lotus, and the Special Forces. However, there are many more factions than just these, and many don't know what they actually do. So today, I will be explaining every single Mortal Kombat faction and ranking them from worst to best. Starting at the bottom with the worst faction or clan in all of Mortal Kombat, the Tangu clan, first appearing in Mortal Kombat Armageddon. Located in Earthrealm, specifically the Arctica region, not much is known about the Tangu clan other than the fact that they are rivals to Kuai Liang's Lin Kuei. During the events of Armageddon, they have shared a truce with the Lin Kuei, but not a stable one, as they attack Taven, believing him to be a part of the Lin Kuei. Their signature color is orange, which has sparked speculation that maybe one day their leader, Wu Lei, could come back as the orange ninja representative of Mortal Kombat. Speaking of which, Wu Lei is the only notable character to be part of the Tangu clan, and he's never even been playable, which I think says a lot about why this clan is at the bottom. Then we have the Shadow Assassins. They were introduced in Mortal Kombat Armageddon as well, and they are a group of demonic wraith warriors cybernetically enhanced by smoke. They appear in the Conquest mode attacking the Lin Kuei and Sub-Zero, and are defeated by Taven. The leader of the clan is Noob Saibot, along with the mind-controlled smoke, and there's not really much to this one. They literally appear in one scene throughout all of Mortal Kombat history. But it is my favorite character, so I have to give it that advantage over the Tangu clan, which has no associated MK characters pretty much. The next one I'd like to talk about is not a clan, but instead a tribe, the Matoka tribe. Introduced in MK3 and located in Earthrealm, this is a Native American tribe based off of the Lakota people, a real-life native tribe. The Lakota people worship Wakan Tonka, hope I'm pronouncing it correctly. Probably not, but it's also known as the Great Spirit, which the Matoka tribe in Mortal Kombat also considers sacred. What's unique about the Matoka tribe is their protector and shaman, a mantle passed down through generations, Nightwolf. The most famous person to hold the mantle is Grey Cloud, who is the Nightwolf we see throughout the games. This faction only has one notable member, and we don't really know what the Matoka does in everyday life, other than what we can just infer based off of actual Native American tribes, which all have their own wildly different practices and traditions. Next up, we have another clan introduced in Armageddon, the Tekunin clan, also located in Earthrealm. The Tekunin are more or less a retread of the Cyber Lin Kuei, being a clan of cyber warriors, though less advanced than the original Cyber Lin Kuei. They have their own warship, which Taven is brought to in the Armageddon Conquest mode, but the ship is attacked by special forces and Taven is able to escape. The most notable thing about the Tekunin is its leader, Sektor. After Sub-Zero takes control of the Lin Kuei as described in his Deadly Alliance bio, Sektor flees to Japan where he forms this new clan. It's also worth noting that Triborg in his Mortal Kombat X ending reformed the Tekunin in the second timeline with his own army of Cyber Lin Kuei, but this, along with the character as a whole, is not canon. This clan hasn't really done much, and Sektor is really the only interesting thing about it. It has a lot of potential though, and I'd really like to see it come back. Not with Mortal Kombat 1 Sektor though. Next up, we have a faction introduced in Mortal Kombat Deception, the Seidan Resistance. Located in the Order Realm, this group acts as a rebellion towards the Seidan government and ideology of complete order. Despite the name, the Order Realm is not the most restful of all the realms. It has a strict code of rules and laws, as well as a fairly corrupt government and police force, and many Seidans wish for a more freeing existence, but not many dare to go against the order that is forced upon them. But these guys do, citing often violent riots and protests, freeing prisoners from their harsh sentences, and even stealing the constitution of Saito. The two most notable members are Darius and Dairu. Darius is the leader and founder of the Seidan Resistance, driven by his distaste for Saito's oppressiveness. But Darius is not the beaming leader fighting for freedom that it may seem like on the surface, as he has his own tendencies of corruption and manipulation. Dairu was once a Seidan guard that believed in its quest for complete order, but when his family was murdered, rage took over and he killed the one responsible, only for the system he fought for so many years to sentence him to life in prison. He would be freed by Darius and join his Seidan Resistance. What he doesn't know, Darius was actually the one who hired the assassins to kill his family. I really like the Seidan Resistance, and really everything to do with the Order Realm, but unfortunately they don't have too many associated characters, and they haven't been explored too much outside of Deception. Next up, we're starting to get into the more well-known clans here, starting with the Red Dragon. Residing in Earthrealm, the Red Dragon are named after the actual Red Dragon and protector of Dagon, Karo. The Red Dragon is a crime syndicate created hundreds of years ago that aimed to conquer Earth and make Dagon the strongest being in all of the realms. However, these plans would see slow progress, as instead, their biggest issue would be the offshoot clan created by disgruntled members, the Black Dragon. The Red Dragon is not as focused on grounded Earthrealm crimes and affairs as the Black Dragon, instead being more into experiments such as their dragon-human hybrids, and when Taven awakes, one of their urgent objectives becomes killing him. Taven would fight back, freeing the dragon Karo from captivity, who would help him eradicate the Red Dragon. The Red Dragon are also briefly featured in the second timeline, having been the ones responsible for the death of Kenchi's wife. Kenchi and his son Takeda would go on a mission to eradicate the Red Dragon, which is what they can presume to be doing during the events of MK11. Notable members include, of course, the Edenian demigod and founder, Dagon. Dagon and his brother, Taven, would be put in a sort of hibernation by their parents, Argus and Delia, and they would be envisioned as the ones to prevent Armageddon. Dagon would awake early, however, and be manipulated by Shinnok into thinking his family conspired against him, resulting in him killing his parents and creating the Red Dragon. The next most notable member is Mavado, the second in command and disciplined warrior. Mavado is known for killing Cabal and stealing his hook swords. The final associated character is Su Hao. He is an enforcer of the Red Dragon and acts as a spy who infiltrates the special forces to gather information and try to take it down from the inside. He fails miserably and everyone makes fun of him for it. The Red Dragon is really cool, but another victim of terrible underdevelopment. Most fans think it's just a copycat of the Black Dragon, which sucks because it has its own quirks and things that make it more interesting in concept. The next placement might shock you a bit, but I have the Shirai Ryu next. The original Shirai Ryu was a ninja clan formed in Japan hundreds of years ago, founded by Takeda, a fleeing member of the Lin Kuei who saw its evil ways and abandoned them. He sought out to make a more heartfelt yet still fierce clan of ninjas who would be in a feud with the Lin Kuei for years to come. The second version of the Shirai Ryu would be introduced in Mortal Kombat X, a reformed clan originated by Hanzo Asashi, consisting of young warriors who would be trained to be disciplined, excellent fighters, as well as people. There are two notable members of the Shirai Ryu, the first one, of course, being the poster boy of the entire series, Scorpion, as well as Scorpion's student and Kenchi's son, Takeda. I have the Shirai Ryu quite low because even though it's iconic and has a rich backstory, there aren't enough associated characters from the series. Scorpion kinda has to carry, and that only brings it so far. Takeda in the games is more so associated with the special forces anyways, with the combat kids. I do think if the MKX comics were canon, and in general if Takeda was just more associated with the Shirai Ryu, I would have it much higher, since that's the side of the character that I actually like, and obviously Scorpion is absolutely goated. The next clan we have to talk about is the Brotherhood of Shadow, introduced in Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero. They are Netherrealm based and have the goal of freeing Shinnok and helping him take over Earthrealm. In mythology, Sub-Zero unknowingly works for the Brotherhood by giving them the amulet of Shinnok. He is then sent by Raiden to take the amulet back by going to the Netherrealm and defeating several members. However, this was not the real amulet that he took back, and instead a fake duplicate placed there by Quan Chi so he could keep the real one for himself. The Brotherhood would regain power by the events of Mortal Kombat 4, and Shinnok would become a major threat to Earthrealm, Edenia, and all of the realms. But Shinnok would be defeated by Liu Kang and Quan Chi would be dragged to hell by Scorpion. After this, the Brotherhood become much weaker a presence in Mortal Kombat, and generally most of the members go their separate ways. The Brotherhood has many notable members, both permanent and temporary, such as the sorcerer and leader Quan Chi, the sisterhood of Serena, Kia, Jataka, and formerly Ashra, Noob Saibot, Tanya, and Reiko. I'm not super into the Brotherhood of Shadow. My main issue is that it doesn't really seem like a true faction. It feels like most of the characters kinda do their own thing and are only halfway involved with the group, such as Noob, Tanya, and Reiko. Out of all of the major factions, it's the most all over the place and generally is just kinda uninteresting compared to the characters individually. Now we're on to the top 5, starting with the Special Forces, a real-life military group. However, in Mortal Kombat, it is much more exaggerated, with them going on advanced missions to kill gods and monsters. Even in the original timeline, the Special Forces have been featured very prominently from the series beginning, starting with the original Mortal Kombat with Sonya, and even more so with Jax in Mortal Kombat 2. Since then, many characters have been associated, such as Johnny Cage, Quan Chi, the Combat Kids, Cyrax, Stryker, and even Sub-Zero has worked with them before. Despite this stacked list of characters, the Special Forces is often seen as the least interesting side of Mortal Kombat, mainly because of its oversaturation with Mortal Kombat X and 11, and thankfully they haven't been featured at all in Mortal Kombat 1. I think the reason that I personally don't have the Special Forces higher is because they don't have anything that they do or are known for that no other faction does. They're just the good guys, no special traditions or interesting history. The next clan I have to talk about is the Cyber Lin Kuei. Starting with Mortal Kombat 3, every Lin Kuei member was forcefully transformed into cyborgs by the Grand Master, believing this transformation would turn them into stronger and more obedient warriors at the expense of their emotions and instincts. A few members, namely Sub-Zero and Smoke, tried to escape this fate, and the new Cyber Lin Kuei were sent after them to have them turned. With Smoke, they were successful. Sub-Zero, not so much. At least until the second timeline, I guess. In the second timeline, the clan shares more or less the same fate of being destroyed by Sub-Zero, but this time they are brought back through time travel to serve Kronika. Notable members of the Cyber Lin Kuei include Sektor, as mentioned earlier, Cyrax, whose mind would eventually be restored and he'd turn good, Smoke, who would be restored temporarily but then brainwashed again to serve Noob Saibot, then there's Sub-Zero himself, who would be turned in place of Smoke in the second timeline, and then finally Frost, also being turned in the second timeline with Kronika enhancements as well. The Cyber Lin Kuei is obviously awesome, and I love the characters, their designs, and their movesets, but story-wise, they've been pretty underutilized in all three timelines. There's only 3, right? I don't know, I've lost track at this point. Getting into the top 3, I have the Black Dragon. You might be surprised it's so high up, but I honestly love the concept and its characters. As we talked about earlier, the Black Dragon is an offshoot of the Red Dragon, more focused in arms dealing, drug running, and terrorism compared to the more otherworldly goals. They're sort of in the background in the first few games, with Kano and Cabal being the only representatives, and then Jarek and MK4, but Special Forces and Deception really brought them more to the forefront, introducing multiple new characters. However, the newer games feature much less Black Dragon representation, usually opting to just throw in Kano and maybe Cabal, and Mortal Kombat 1 doesn't have them at all. The most notable characters from the Black Dragon include Kano, of course, their leader, Cabal, who flip-flops from being a good guy and then working for them, Kira and Cobra, who Cabal recruits during Deception, and then No Face, Tajia, Jarek, and Tremor are all pretty much just lackeys with not much to them. Oh yeah, and Aaron Black is a Black Dragon in MK11 because why not? I really love the Black Dragon, and I know a lot of you guys might think that's weird because a lot of people just think they're uninteresting or don't take them seriously, but I honestly think they're a really fun, chaotic group of misfits, and I wish they leaned into that more. In the runner-up spot, I have the White Lotus Society, who reside in Earthrealm and act as sort of a second level to the Shaolin as Earthrealm's most powerful force for protection. They were formed after the Great Kung Lao's death, as Earthrealm was particularly vulnerable during that time. They would act as Earthrealm's protectors and potential new champions for the Mortal Kombat tournament. They are kept secret from the outside world, must be from Earthrealm, and are small in numbers. But despite being small in numbers, a lot of characters from Mortal Kombat have been associated with them, including Raiden, the founder, Liu Kang, champion of Earthrealm, Kung Lao, descendant of the Great Kung Lao, Fujin, Raiden's brother, and Kai. He's Kai. Shujinko was also a potential early recruit for the White Lotus, however his commitment to Damashi got in the way. I really love the White Lotus. Obviously has many iconic characters, and it's part of one of my favorite sides of the series with the Shaolin and more magical side of Earthrealm. But there's still one more clan to go, and you probably guessed it before you even clicked on the video. At number 1, I got the Lin Kuei. Of course. The original Lin Kuei are a group of assassins taken from all over Earthrealm. They are based in China and steal children to be harshly trained to become cold, heartless killers. Over their long history, the Lin Kuei have been part of many big storylines and feuds, most famously Scorpion and the Shirai Ryu. They were also part of Sub-Zero mythologies and the first 2 Mortal Kombat games before transitioning to the Cyber Lin Kuei. After the destruction of the Cyber Lin Kuei, the clan would be reformed by Kuai Liang in both timelines, taking in new warriors and training them to be Earthrealm's protectors, most notably his prized protege, Frost. In the original timeline, Kuai's Lin Kuei is attacked twice, once by Frost and once by Noob and Smoke, both causing major casualty. In the second timeline, they are kidnapped and transformed forcefully into cyborgs, once again by Frost. The most notable characters from the Lin Kuei include Bi-Han Sub-Zero, Kuai Liang Sub-Zero, Smoke, Sektor, Cyrax, Frost, and technically Shujinko. I obviously love the Lin Kuei that houses many of my favorite characters throughout the series. Both Sub-Zeros, the cyborgs, Frost, I guess, but it also has a rich history and very interestingly adapts throughout the series, from its original iteration to cyberization to Kuai Liang reforming it, and then history repeating itself with the second timeline. We don't talk about the third timeline. But that'll do it for every faction in Mortal Kombat explained and ranked. Let me know in the comments which one was your favorite, and while you're down there, make sure to check out the links in the description to my merch store, Twitter, and Instagram. Also make sure to give this video a like to show your support, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell to know when I next upload a new video. With that being said, that's it for this video, my fellow oddities. I'll see you next time.